In the morning when I rise, give me Jesus.
You have been severed from Christ. You who are seeking to be justified by law, you have fallen from grace. I have heard the conversation so many times that is to lose your salvation, and it's not. What Paul's saying here is you cannot operate in the flesh, try to be righteous by following the rules, and at the same time follow Jesus. You can follow the rules or you can follow Jesus, one or the other. If you try to do both, then you're accomplishing neither one. Jesus said in Revelation to the church in Laodicea, "You are lukewarm and I spew you out of my mouth." What he's saying is, you're cold trying to do it by yourself, and you're hot walking with me. And I wish you were one or the other, because if you were cold, then you would know you're not making it and you would turn to me. That's what the law's all about. But if you were hot, you'd be walking with me and you'd be experiencing God's love, and you would be rich in the abundant life that I have for you, being rested in me. Well, you can't have both. When you're both, then you are lukewarm. One of the biggest conversations I hear is Christianity is a balance. Yeah, it's Jesus and the cross, but you still have to do your part and try your hardest to be a good boy. Well, if you're looking at yourself so that you're trying hard to be good, then you're not looking at Jesus. And you gotta look at Jesus if you want to overcome any of the nonsense in the flesh. That's what Paul's been saying. But there are people coming in and teaching a perverted doctrine. Look at verses 7 through 12. You were running well. Who hindered you from obeying the truth? You guys were doing so good when you were following Jesus. Now these guys have sneaked in, told you to behave, and so now you're looking at yourselves. What happened to you guys? You were doing so well. Verse 8. This persuasion did not come from God, who called you. No, this being good enough to follow the law in order to please God is not from God. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. Don't you let that false teaching come into your heart. If you do, then you will be perverted in your walk, and you will pervert others in their walk. Okay, so we hear that perversion from the pulpit too many times. The preacher will often tell you, absolutely, we trust in Jesus for salvation. But then once you're saved, he'll say, okay, now you got to look like a good Christian. You got to quit this and you got to start doing that. See, that's the mixture. He'll call it balance, but it's mixture and it makes you lukewarm. Verse 10, I have confidence in you in the Lord. Did you hear that? Confidence in you in the Lord. Oh, if you're spending time with God, then you're not hearing the perversion. You're hearing the true gospel. I have confidence in you in the Lord that you will adopt no other view. But the one who is disturbing you will bear his judgment, whoever he is. See, whoever would teach something of mixture, whoever would teach anything but the true gospel, they are missing out on the abundant life that God has. They will feel guilty, and see, that will separate them from Christ because they'll feel like they're not worthy. They will fall from grace because they don't feel like they're worthy of the love and grace of God. That's the judgment that comes. It's judgment that they put on themselves by knowing that they're guilty of not following the law as good as they could. They never will. And so guilt is all you're ever going to get. But I, brethren, if I still preach circumcision, why am I still persecuted? Well, I'm persecuted because I'm not preaching circumcision. If I was, then I wouldn't be persecuted, because then the stumbling block of the cross would have been abolished. See, if I'm going to preach, you can be good enough on your own, then Jesus didn't need to die. And so it abolishes the stumbling block of the cross. Verse 12, This is how Paul feels about anybody that teaches a perverted gospel, a mixture gospel. They'll call it balance. It's not. Any kind of gospel that's contrary to eyes on Jesus alone, salvation from Jesus alone, holding on to salvation by looking at Jesus alone and letting him hold on to you. I wish that those who are troubling you would even mutilate themselves. Woe to anyone who would preach anything but the true gospel. Oh, behold, eyes on Jesus is the answer to abundant life. So God bless you today as you walk with your eyes on Jesus. I'll see you tomorrow.
Give me Jesus. 'Cause Jesus. 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 Jesus. '